welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant. Are we doing one of these already?
Yes, and we'll be doing another one in a few weeks too.
My goodness.
So, welcome to our April monthly debrief of 2022.
And it's only May the 6th today.
Yeah.
So, I think that's pretty good. We're on it.
Pretty good.
We're on it.
So, yes, this would have been done last week, but I was very unwell. So, my apologies
for
that.
Fault. We would have also played great games last week.
We didn't play as many games as we could have done.
We only got to 11 this month.
There was still a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, and a big part of a lot of the games that we played is that we went to Buckeye Game Fest at the beginning of April.
Yes, and it was fantastic.
Yes. If you don't know, Buckeye Game Fest, first off, there is a debrief video that we did of that. So go watch that.
I also did a post on the blog about it.
Yes, and I think there's already been a couple of videos from there, and there's a couple more coming after this. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we played a couple, did a couple videos.
Just some videos of games that we played and some other things that we did and so on. So, Buckeye Game Fest, it's a small gaming convention. There was a couple hundred people there, and
they have an entire war room.
Yeah, there's and it was much bigger this year than it was the last time we went in 2019.
The room was bigger. I'm not sure there was as many people there.
Oh, I think there was more.
You feel like?
In 2019, when we went, we walked into that war room on Thursday night and it was dead because everyone had already packed up and left.
Yeah.
We played the coin game, we were the only ones in there.
And there was no one in there, maybe you're right.
We were there for the whole weekend in that room, and
there weren't
Saturday was popping off, I felt, this year.
Oh, it was.
It was...
we had our two tables going. I know Brant Guillory with Armchair Dragoons had his table going.
There was some big stuff going on in the corner.
Yeah, there were a lot of people.
It was really nice. So, you can go there. There's Euro games going on, regular kind of gaming, and they got all sorts of other cool events that are happening as well.
Well, and it's a very approachable con. You're not going to be overwhelmed. You're not going to be packed in a room. There's really great facilities. That hotel is fantastic.
Yeah, is it the
Hilton?
Hyatt Regency in Columbus, Ohio.
Right downtown. Really, really fantastic location.
And you get there's convention rates for the hotel rooms.
Actually, the room weren't that bad. I mean, I felt like it. Obviously, it's not a $70 room. You're going to pay $100 for the room,
but it's
well worth it.
But you're not paying $200.
No. And you could get a buddy and you split it.
You go in and you say, "Yo, dog, I'm here for the convention. Can I get the convention rate?"
Do you have to say "Yo, dog"?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's required.
It's very official.
Did we say that?
Yeah, that's the password.
All right.
Buckeye Game Fest were like, you must say this to get the hotel rate.
Okay.
Yo, dog. Yeah. Here's the. Okay. So make sure you say that if you sign up.
Please don't. Please don't.
Tell them we sent you. No, don't do that. But it's all centralized, all in that hotel. Yeah. They got all these conference rooms, and it's just very relaxed. Great gaming, great people, and it was just so much fun. And we were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, left on Sunday, and we got to play a ton of games.
We did.
So that was
from the
get-go.
Nice. We found some people we knew. Russ Wetley, and immediately played a game, which was fantastic. We got there, we got in the room, we went down and we played. And that was awesome.
Yeah. Was that's been our first convention for a long time.
Well, we went
Since
to Gen
2019.
Con. We went to Gen Con last year.
That's true.
You gotta remember, it was one day. We went one day because it was utterly packed.
And we just walked around and didn't play anything.
I didn't feel safe. I'm just going to be honest. We had our masks on. I think COVID was still at pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. We spent the entire day there, but we normally go 3 days and we didn't go. So that was our other conference.
But we also didn't play any games
convention.
there. So we didn't. In my brain, I kind of forget that we did that.
Walked around, looked at things, bought things, had fun.
Bought games.
Yeah. Had a good... Well, I don't know why we buy more games.
But yeah, this was the first time we'd gone to a convention and sat down and played a bunch of different games.
Yeah.
Met a bunch of people. It was very cool, very relaxed. I would highly recommend anyone who's kind of in the Midwest, or even not, to check it out next year. We'll be there again next year, most likely. And it was just... I really enjoy it because it's so chill and you just play war games.
Yeah.
And that's great. It's really fun for that. So let's kind of dive in and talk about some of the games that we played.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot. I think the first...
Well, let's talk about games that we played at Buckeye Game Fest, because I think we played a ton of them.
And you kind of alluded to this. We kind of got there that Thursday night. We left work.
Yeah.
And Buckeye Game Fest has a games library in these big, massive... I don't know what you call them, like portable cupboards.
Rollable, yeah.
One of them's chock full of some good variety of war games. One of which, I guess, not a war game, Churchill.
Yeah.
So
well, and as we met up with Russ, who has his own blog, Cardboard Conflicts.
Yes.
We know Russ. He's a patron. I know you talk to him a lot.
Talk to him regularly
on Slack. When I saw this game, I knew that's going to be the game we played because there were 3 of us.
Yes.
And I just knew it would be perfect. So I saw it, grabbed it. We sat down. We did the 3 conference.
Yeah, we just did the introductory scenario because he'd never played it and it was late. We didn't want to go on all night.
And it was fantastic. Like every experience I've ever had with that game is very unique. I played the U.S. and I have not played the U.S. that often. More often than not, I played the Brits and or the Russians. So it was a great way to start the convention off. We played for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Had a great time, yucked it up, yelled "niet" a lot. Even though I wasn't Russian, I was still yelling it. But yeah, great game. Churchill, GMT Games, Mark Herman. One of Mark Herman's, I think, one of his finest efforts.
I love it.
I just think it's so unique. This is one of the first games you and I played.
Yes.
Wasn't the first GMT. Twilight Struggle was the first GMT.
But it was one of the
It was probably the second or third. We also had Liberty or Death and Wilderness War mixed in there.
I think this was my first Mark Herman game.
Yeah, yeah. And I was hooked immediately and just really enjoyed it. So that was one game we played.
And tidbit, the last time we played this was the Buckeye Game Fest.
You're right. We did play it 2 years ago.
We did.
With a young man that had never played before, and he kicked our teeth in.
Yes. But
I don't know how.
It was great.
But he kicked our teeth in, and we had a good time.
Playing this was like meeting an old friend once again.
Agreed.
I immediately knew all the rules again, and it was just a great time. I always love it.
We still mix some things up, but that's part of it.
But like, this, and I immediately remembered all the reasons that I loved it. I really enjoyed playing that game.
Yeah, it's great.
So
that was our first game.
Yeah, that was Thursday night. Then we had on Friday, we kind of set a bunch of stuff up. And then we had our kind of first coin event that we ran. So
we had 4 events where each of us taught either a full 4-player game where we played, or a 4-player game where we just refereed.
Yes.
And it was a fantastic experience.
Yeah. So that Friday I played Cuba Libre. So I sat down with 3 people. I was the 4th. We played and taught this.
Yep.
Great coin game. Really enjoy it. Excellent place to start as well because it's not overwhelmed. We had brand new, never played coin players. Some of the people that played, which was really nice to introduce some of these to people that we like. You were sat down doing this one,
Liberty or Death, which is my second favorite coin game. I just love it. I think this is a little more complex.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it has a battle sequence. It's just a little more unique. Cuba Libre is kind of an introductory game to the series. It's not the first game, it's the second game.
Yeah, but all the mechanics are like identical to the first game.
Right.
So it's very much the base coin.
Yeah, without a lot of bells and whistles.
Now with Volume 5, you start to get into, we've done this, and we've done this.
A battle sequence with a die roll.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat things. So I played in the first game that night, 4-player game. I played the Indians. I got second place. I was very close to winning. I think I needed one more village. And I couldn't find a space to get it. So, great game. And then the next day I taught this as well. So I taught the same coin both days.
Yes.
I didn't play in that second game.
So this game
it ended quickly.
Went horribly.
No, it was fun playing it, right?
Oh, yeah. I played this 29th of July. We got crushed by the government. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
This ended after 2 propaganda rounds.
We were over here playing, and I heard you guys say, "Oh, it's over," and I was like, "What?"
It was not good. Everyone was having a good time.
I thought someone table flipped.
No,
flipped the table,
But then, like, as a joke, we were like, well, let's set up something else. Oh, who's got Fire in the Lake? Someone had Fire in the Lake,
Which
and
is
we
funny.
set it up and played it. And this also went terribly and ended after 2 propaganda rounds. And we were crushed by, in this one, it was...
Arvin one,
the
right?
Arvin one, I believe.
Gary Ardwolf.
Yes. And so I played 2 in the time you played 1. Because horrible play and some unlucky propaganda shuffling.
Yeah.
Which
I think the deck in one of them was set up inappropriately. And that's
that
why
was the second day, wasn't it?
That was the second day.
But this was, in these ones, the decks aren't seeded in the same way as some of the later titles are. So there's the chance
a little more randomness.
You can get like a double kind of kick very quickly, and if someone's in a good position, they can execute on that. So I actually got to play Fire in the Lake, had a blast with that, and Cuba Libre, had a blast with that. So then...
So before we go on, I want to talk really quickly. Sure. That was a really great experience.
Very, very.
Teaching. I consider us coin veterans, not coin experts.
No, but we've played a lot.
I don't think either of us are strategic geniuses. I'm probably closer to it than you. But neither of us are strategic geniuses. Why are you laughing?
I'm not. I'm coughing.
Okay, you're coughing.
Choking.
Right. But it was just a great experience to teach 3 or 4 new people, to see their eyes light up, to see the glaze go over their eyes as they're reading and trying to understand the options, right? Your activities and special commands and I'm getting my names. It's commands and special activities. I saw the gambit, right? I saw people not understanding it. I saw them growing. I saw them realize, here's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I saw them repeatedly doing those things they were supposed to be doing without people stopping them. It was just fantastic. I was reminded of some lessons about how I've taught new players the game before. We've played with our friends, Matt, Tim. I think Josh played with us one time, didn't he?
Maybe.
But we've played what did we play?
We played Cuba Libre with them. We played Falling Sky.
And Liberty or Death. So those are kind of the 3 we've played with them. Some of those are complex. Falling Sky, I think, is very complex. But I learned some lessons from that I think I translated to our teaching session and really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough that I wrote a blog post about it that's done very, very well. So if you haven't read that, go on and read that. It's about how to teach the coin series to new players. Not that I'm an expert, but I talk about, I think, the 7 or 8 things that you've just got to
make sure you hit
remind
this, do
them.
that. Yeah, it was fascinating because I played with a number of different players. Some people have played a couple of coins, or played a coin one or two times.
Yeah.
And so it was like this particular title was new to them, or they just weren't very experienced. And then there were people who had never played coin at all.
Never even touched a box.
Yeah, and that was a little bit intimidating because it's like, I desperately don't want to ruin this experience for you by being a bad teacher, or you have a crappy game.
I felt a little bit of that, and
it's a little bit of pressure.
And at points with Liberty or Death, when it was getting more complex, I was starting to kind of sweat a little bit.
Well, you're like, oh,
so I'm like, this isn't going the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, but it was it was a very interesting exercise, but it was really cool to show something that we love to other people as well. And when I kind of submitted those events, how they ended up is exactly how I imagined that I was hoping that they would go. Where we'd have a bunch of new players, and they'd get to get in a big coin game that sometimes you can't get to the table.
Right.
Hey, I want to try this, but no one else in my group is interested, and it's kind of intense and scares people off. Great. Here's this learning opportunity. No one's trying to win. No one's going to be a tool about it.
I was trying to win.
Yes, well, but it's everyone's kind of at a similar level. Mistakes will be made, but it's okay.
Yeah, I had to remind one of the players because I think I had. You know how you read those rules sometimes, or you read the command and you misunderstand a little part, and you're like, oh, I need to do it this way, and then you realize, oh, that's wrong. Oops. I think I told him that, and he was all of a sudden immediately flustered.
And you're like...
And I said, dude, I said, we've all been doing it wrong the entire game. We fix this. Let's just move on.
Well,
and I think he did.
Yeah, and
enjoyed it.
And I wanted it to be an environment where it was like, it's okay to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't have 3 veterans who are like, you're ruining our game by not being good enough, and it's imbalancing it.
Yeah.
And no one was like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that I really appreciate that.
The only regret I have about doing it is maybe that we didn't do it one more time. I know we did it on Friday evening. We did it Saturday afternoon.
Was it the other way around?
Maybe it was the other way around.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have maybe done it Thursday because I think we would have had a different group.
Maybe.
I just think it was so cool because it's a multiplayer game where you can sit down. I think it's fairly understandable. Doesn't mean you're going to be good at it, but everybody can do it. It's just you can't do it well until you play it a couple of times.
Yes.
But the way those games shine is when you have max players.
Yes.
It's just the way they're made.
That is how they're designed, and that's where they are best.
So thanks for putting us... I don't know that I would have thought to do that, which is sad, but I'm glad we did. I really enjoyed that.
I wanted to do something that we could get as many people together as possible.
Yep.
And that was like... the least unreasonable way to do it, I think.
4 to 5 player war games, that's where you got to play them at conventions.
And running 2 at the same time, so we could have like
so
a bunch
cool.
of... Yeah, it was neat.
It was cool to look at our table and just see everybody. You know, I would step back and people are studying those play aids and just really
how many people came by and nosed through, right?
It was great. I hope it exposed a lot of new people to the coin series.
They just look good on a table with all the little pieces.
Yeah.
So
they drew me in. I mean, when we were first coming over, I saw Liberty or Death on Twitter, and I'm like, I gotta get that.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing the pictures of that you showed me. And you're like, those are small little wooden star forts. We have to.
Yeah, we have to get that, and we got it. We played it. Then we were like, let's get the next one. And let's get the next one. And let's get the next. You know. Anyway, it was a great experience. I'm glad we did that. So that was
Friday, because then on Saturday morning we then played
a 5-player game
of Successors.
4th edition by Mark Simonich and Richard Berg.
So this is Wars of the Succession of Alexander of Macedonia.
Yeah.
And this game's been around for a while. Big CDG. But we played this 5-player scenario that's in here, and it was a great time.
This game is awesome.
Yeah. There's a reason it's on its 4th edition.
It's awesome.
This is obviously an incredibly nice, beautiful, and intricate production of this game. Mm-hmm. But this is a game where we were sat around playing this massive, took up this whole big table. So many people came by and were like,
ooh, what's that?
Yeah. I got the second edition of this on my shelf from 25 years ago. Like, I remember playing that as a kid. Like, this is one of those games that people have nostalgia for, but not for the way that this game looks. This looks incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it has miniatures. The board's beautiful. It's just a great production. I love the art. I love the cover. Yeah. I just think it looks fantastic. So this was actually, I think, my favorite experience at the con. Even though we only played 2 turns and we played for about 3 hours.
And it was very much a learning experience for everyone there as well.
But I cannot wait to get it on the table again, and probably you and I just play the 2-player scenario.
Yeah, I'd like to see
that's longer.
Some of the different player counts. Yeah. Because some people were like, oh, love the 3-player game. Love the 2-player game.
We got to lug this one to other cons and maybe set up an event and get 3 or 4 players and play the different player accounts.
Yeah,
glad we played that from Phalanx.
Beautiful production, huge box, really nice.
And it's interesting because I own Mark's other card-driven game, Hannibal and Hamilcar. We also have the Gaul game,
Caesar versus
Gaul. But I didn't enjoy Hannibal and Hamilcar as much as I enjoyed this one.
I enjoyed that more.
So, really love that. Looking forward to playing that again. Sorry, I've got the hiccups.
So that was Saturday morning. Then we did another coin event.
I taught Liberty or Death again.
I taught just Cuba Libre that time. It went a little bit longer, but still ended fairly early. But that one was...
and Liberty or Death is just a longer game. It is
and
just
you were
a
playing
longer
the short
game.
Version of
we
it
were.
too.
We played the 4 deck game, so it...
Yeah, and we were playing the kind of 48 deck game in this, but it just... This goes quicker. You don't have all of the combat calculations and stuff. That kind of stuff can slow it down.
Slow a game down.
So yeah, again, blast playing Coin. Met some really cool people playing that. And this one on the Saturday, there was 4 players, and I just had to teach them referee.
And I did the same thing.
That was very nice. A very different experience.
It was, yeah.
Because I don't have to worry about the strategies. I could just help people and just give them pointers without being like, oh, but not too much over here, sorry.
Well, we had a brand new player. Her boyfriend, I think, had played 2 or 3 coin games, but not a lot. She was brand new. She's a gamer, but she was brand new. I helped her. We played the Indians together. And it was interesting because at first, very tentative. Didn't know what she was doing. Really looking, like she kept looking at me, what are we going to do? So I reminded her, here's your victory conditions. Yeah. Here's what you are trying to do.
Do your victory conditions.
And by the way, you want the British to also get their victory conditions because you share them. So once she kind of got that after turn 2 or, round 2 or 3, she was making the decisions. And I'm like, bingo, you got it. I'm going to recruit down here and I'm going to build some villages. And I'm like, that's exactly it. That's what you're doing. And then I'm going to raid a couple of times to weaken their support. It was great to see that. To see someone who, I think at very first didn't want to be doing it. By the end, she was into it. So
yeah, I in my game of Cuba Libre, I had 3 people who'd never played at all.
Okay.
And 1 person who'd played
a lot.
No,
a couple times.
Never played Cuba Libre. Played like a couple Andean Abyss maybe.
Okay.
And so it was a very new, very shiny game for these. So it was. I mean, that game was the core concepts of what the game board looks like. Mm-hmm. Explaining about the population values. This is an area control game for 2 of you. Mm-hmm. For you, it's a population control game.
Yeah.
And for you, it's an economic game.
Yep.
Like, it was, I mean, real ground up stuff. We kind of walked through all the different menus.
Yep.
As like, you can sometimes do some of these, and then maybe do this. And explaining the initiative track, like from a ground up standpoint. It was very interesting doing it at that very granular level for them. But the nice part is not having to play is I could sit there and just like, talk smack between the players.
Sure.
So, just, accusing everyone of being a filthy communist,
right.
Or the capitalist pig dogs, or like the mobster mafias over here.
Just worrying about their casino.
Throwing all the jokes, you just like, this guy screwed him over, and you're like, just remember, he just screwed you over.
Yeah.
Don't let him forget that. and there was just really fun moments as they would like get into the flavor of the game through that kind of silliness as well. Like, you don't have to be nervous and be scared of this seemingly complicated game. Like, remember, it's a game, it's enjoyable. Like, when you roll up your car and you do a kidnap action and you close that casino, what you've done is you've hauled in one of the mafia bosses, you've got him tied up in the trunk of the car, and you threw a petrol bomb through the window of the casino, and they had to close. That's what you did.
Yep, that's the terror you just caused. You kidnapped.
A filthy underground guerrilla, and you just drove off. Like, what an awesome game moment. That's what you did with that action. And just kind of showing them some of that stuff that when you're playing, it's harder to concentrate on that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll also say in our game, to me, the British and the Indians have the most interesting relationship in Liberty or Death. The Americans, the Patriots and the French, it's kind of a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
They both work very well together. They're both trying to help each other a lot. The British and the Indians, they're more, they're partners of convenience, right?
Yes.
The British think the Indians are filthy savages, right? And
trying to use them as guides.
And they're trying to use them. That's it. They don't care about them. The Indians are trying to preserve their way of life and use the British. So the thing that I learned in that game, because that new player who was playing the Indians, at the end she was like, well, I want to help him, but I want him to help me too. And I said, ask him for that. So she said, I'm gonna raid these 2 areas, but I really need you to protect my village. Can you just can you move a couple of guys over there so those patriots won't come out and destroy her villages? And they agreed to that. And she went down and raided 2 or 3 areas, gave him like 6 points, and he went out and saved her. Didn't save it, but prevented. And it was just really cool to see that. Now, then I told her, I said, now, that's over.
Yep.
Don't feel like you got to do that again. And she never did it again. And he never did it again, although he wanted her to do some of that again. So it was just interesting to see how players grew and understood what they were supposed to be doing.
And you reveal the deeper relationships and strategies of the game.
Just
which is what makes the game good.
Yeah.
Those inter-ally and the betrayal, that stuff. That's
why those games are great.
So good.
I still believe that, and I think you and I have talked about this, and I'm a history buff. I think that the Liberty or Death game could be expanded, and there could be a 2 or 3 player scenario, much like the War in the South, that deals with the Indian War on the frontier. Because that involved the British, the Indians, and the Patriots, not the French in any way, shape, or form. I've thought about that. I've done some research into the history, just never moved it forward. But anyway, those are great games. We've talked about them enough. Yes. I love the coin series.
So we did that again. And then the last game that we played at Buckeye Game Fest was that night we played PAX Pamir 2nd Edition.
Great game.
So we played this 5-player?
We did, yeah, full 5 players.
Which is pretty intense.
Russ, David Thompson, that one new
Eric.
friend. Eric, and then I can't remember the other guy's name. It's terrible. He was the one that did the trays.
Okay.
He was the guy, so...
Yes.
But yeah, 5-player game, fantastic. Just fun.
It was very, very good. I love this game.
I do too.
It was kind of a learning game because I haven't played it for a while.
Yeah.
It
took us a while to get into it. I couldn't remember what I was supposed to be doing.
And I'm very bad at this game.
I think I am too.
But I just love playing it.
Oh, it's great.
Like, this is... Of all the games that I have, this is a game I do not care if I win or lose. Because the actions of doing the things that you're doing are immensely enjoyable and very tense, and trying to think about all of the knock-on effects of if you do this, 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 and this, and this.
Yeah.
Everything is linked to something else in the game, and it's mouth-wateringly good.
I love it also that you can just, in the middle of the game, you can change your allegiance to get on the winning side.
Yes.
Now, if you've built up so many points on the other side, you don't want to do that.
No.
But if you're kind of losing and you want to switch side and it's not going to hurt you that much, you're going to do that. And people do that.
But what you do is you sabotage those people, then you join their side.
Right.
And that stuff is just like...
Yeah, it's good.
It's
lots
great.
of good interaction.
It's very, very good.
So we played a lot of games at Buckeye Game Fest.
Yes.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that was kind of all in one big long weekend.
Yeah. We also did, and we talked about it in the debrief video, that...
the Artemis Shipbridge Simulator.
That's so fun.
If you
that
ever...
is so fun.
That's like the best part about Buckeye Game Fest,
so
frankly.
It's free.
They have that set up. It's free, and you can just like do it a bunch.
You just wait like 10 minutes and you're in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I
crazy.
did it at Gen Con like 10 years ago, and it was both expensive and also very busy. So we had to do it at like 11 p.m.
Yeah.
But like, they got it free there. So just like, we did that a couple times. It's a blast.
Nothing better than taking one of those roles. You were, I think, the science officer. I was the pilot, the engineer, and I think I was the captain. It was just a blast. Yeah. Just a blast.
Very fun game.
If you haven't gone to Buckeye Game Fest, go next year. It's going to be next April 23. I can't remember.
It's 27th through 30th.
I think it was like the end of the month.
It's more the end of the month.
So please join us. We're going to go again. We're going to go every year because it's a spring con, you know?
Spring con. Yeah, first con of the season.
Yeah. It's great.
And it's
fantastic.
great. It's still fairly relaxed.
I'm going every year.
So later in the month, a friend of ours came into town. You were unavailable, unfortunately.
I had night work meetings.
Which sucks. So I played with Mike, and we played Helenas from GMT. This is an old 2008, 2009 game, I think.
It's an older game, sir, but it checks out.
It still checks out. So this is a CDG Columbia-style block war game with a bit more meat on the bones.
Who's the designer?
It's designed by
Craig
Basink.
So he does Conquest and Consequence and Twilight, what's the European one?
Triumphant Tragedy.
Triumphant Tragedy.
Yes.
Same guy.
This doesn't have any
nothing to do with that,
other than it has blocks.
Yeah.
Basically. But it's a very, very neat game, very brittle game, very interesting game. There's a video about this coming up kind of later on down the line. I have had this sat on my shelf for a few months. I enjoyed our play of it. there's more to dive into in this. There's a number of other scenarios which apparently are more recommended as well.
Well, maybe we can play one of them one time.
But yeah, it was, a Peloponnesian
campaigns
War
of the Peloponnesian War.
And there's a number of the different campaigns in there as well that are fairly radically different as well. So there's a good chunk of game in there. I enjoyed it. I want to play more of it.
Yeah.
And then we finished that, and then we played District Commander Maracas, which...
From Hollandspiel?
Yes. We had attempted to play this.
You and I did about 2 years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
And we liked what we were seeing. It was very, very late.
Yes.
After a very, very, very long war game. And we gave up about halfway through because...
I didn't know what I was doing.
I didn't either. And my head was hurt, and I remember we decided not to play it.
And we sat down, and we carved this out and figured out how to play, and it's incredible.
Okay.
And
then we got to play it.
I know how to play this.
How many of these you have?
I got Bindin and Kandahar up
and I
here
think there's
as well.
another one, too, isn't there?
There might be, or there might be more in the works.
I swear there's another one.
Brian
Train designed all of these.
Yes. But now I
love Brian Train.
We played it, and now I've seen how it all works and works together. I understand what you
should be doing.
Yeah, or at least the kind of things that you're supposed to do, and the flow of the game.
Okay.
And so...
Well, let's put this on our list of doing sometime in the next couple of months.
This will happen this year. Yeah. We must play some of this.
And I would really like to do the Minden one.
Because we'll do all of
Vietnam. Okay.
Because I cannot tell you how much I enjoy this.
Well, good.
And I know... You will love it.
Okay. You didn't shoot a video for this one?
No.
Okay, good. We'll play it and then we'll shoot a video.
Yes. This is an action economy game. And it was... I'm getting excited just thinking about our play of it because it was so fun.
Nice.
And it was just...
we just couldn't get it. I remember sitting down and thinking, what are we doing?
Well, it's a Hollenspiel game, 120... So I thought, it's... we'll just kind of dive right into it.
Yeah.
It is...
it's
a bit more intense than that.
I remember the problem I had was you have little stacks of units, 3 or 4 units, and I couldn't remember what I had under those units. So I remember thinking to myself...
constantly kind of looking through them at times.
Yeah, I remember thinking to myself, man, if we could just get something that would stand them up, and I think I gave you those little plastic pieces. Remember those things I gave you?
Yes, and those are in there.
Okay. They don't work as well.
Not the way the board's not big enough to use those in that way. But
anyway,
it's
good.
It's very
good.
So yes,
looking forward to that.
A lot to like in there. So that's all the games that I have played. I know you played a couple extras as well.
I've got a couple solo games. I bought this game when we were at Buckeye Game Fest. I ordered it online because it had just dropped. This is Irish Freedom from White Dog Games. It's a solitaire-only game. It covers the Irish War of Independence, and then the Irish Civil War, the subsequent Irish Civil War. So it's in the 1920s, give or take. Totally solitaire game. I think it's very simple. I think the design is pretty elegant, and it works. So David Kershaw designed this. It was a print and play winner on Board Game Geek in 2013. So White Dog finally decided to go ahead and work with him and
get a
print
nice
it out.
Box version of it.
I've played this 3 times. I lost horribly the first, and then I've won the second time. So I'm going to play this a couple more. In fact, I want to play the Civil War game because that's a little more. It's where it's
a bit more involved.
It's a little more involved, and the sides change. So you're not who you were in the first game. So it's pretty interesting. So it's a 2-part game. Anyway. Very, very cool. I played it 3 times, and I've really enjoyed it. So the other game that I played a lot of over the past couple of months, really, is Resist. This is a solo-only card game. That's all the components that are in it. And you are playing as the Spanish Maquis in the 1930s and 1940s as you're fighting against Franco and his forces. So... It extends beyond World War II, almost up to 1950. There's 3 different eras. A very fun game. You're playing these Spanish Maquis that have 2 different powers. One is hidden, so you're kind of in the shadows. That's a little less powerful. Then you also have a revealed power that does a lot. So you have to decide, which am I going to use? And when you use the revealed, they get noticed, so they can't come back in your deck. Very cool game. This is coming to GameFound. in just a couple of days on May the 12th.
And beautiful game as well.
Yep. So I have a preview video. Yeah, the art is by Albert Montes, and it is ridiculous. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
I have a preview video coming out next week, and I also have a written interview with David Thompson, one of the designers on the game. This was really fun. I'd like to give it to you if you want to keep it. Pretty easy to play. Plays in about 30 minutes.
Yes. So that's all the games
Yep.
that we played. So it ended up being a good chunk of games.
Yeah, it was like 11. Oh, we also played Lord of the Rings, Journeys in Middle-earth, Spreading War.
Yes.
We played it first, like on April the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, beginning of April.
With our father-in-law.
Played
on
a couple scenarios.
3 scenarios. Then we played it near the end of the month. You came over to my house. John came over to my house. We played another 2 or 3 scenarios. It really pissed me off. We ended the night last time with a beautiful scenario.
Ended on a downer.
And we were almost there, and we lost it at the very end, and I was
in a very dumb way.
A very dumb way.
But
it's a great game.
Yeah.
Really enjoy that game.
We've played all of it, and we're just going to finish that campaign, and we'll have done everything that is out for the game.
It's very good. I like it.
Just enjoy it. It's a great game.
Yep.
Very fun narrative game.
So that's all the games we played.
Yes. So, coming up for May, what do we have in the pipeline? Well, that's a great question. I put them all over here. So, we have a number of games.
Kind of disorganized here.
Yes. We're going to start with Salerno 43. I know this is a game that we said we were going to play last month.
And we've played it already.
But yes, I was not well at the end of last month, but we're recording this the
It's
first
all
week of
your
May,
fault, and I don't know why.
We have played this. We played this today.
It's awesome.
Very good game. It's exactly what you think it would be, and it does everything that it says on the tin.
Yep.
Big check mark.
So that's a game for May. We've already played that.
We're going to play that in May.
Yeah. Another one that we're very excited about.
Yeah. Yes.
I think the one that we're most excited about.
Point Blank. V is for Victory, and the unboxing video for this.
Post soon.
If it isn't out by the time you're watching this, it's coming very, very soon.
And this is the only pre-production copy in North America?
I believe that is the case.
So we feel very fortunate to have been provided with this.
Yeah, this was this is a final production, like a pre-production copy that the factory sent to Lock and Load, and were like, is this okay? And they nosed through it and said, yes. Mm-hmm. And then they mailed this to us. So this game is shipping, printing. They're hoping to have it available like late summer.
Okay, so August maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. But,
this was a Kickstarter like last year or early this year?
Last year, I think.
I did an interview with Sean Drulinger, the designer, on this like 2 years ago.
Well, and we played a prototype copy of this
at WBC
4 years ago.
And have a video, I think, a discussion with them.
And it's some of the components have changed since then.
Yep.
But my goodness, did I enjoy that play that we did.
Oh, yeah.
And having nosed through this and unboxed it, there's so much in here.
Well, I want to play this, and I want to play it quite a few times because I loved this game when we played it.
And they've got solo flowcharts in here, so I want to check that out too. Because this, as a shout out to later, if that solo is robust, this is the kind of game where you could play this for the rest of your life. There's so much in here.
Well, when you were looking through it, I know there are just stacks of cards.
Oh my gosh!
Cards are kind of not the only component, but it's like 90% of the game.
Yes,
and it's just there's so many units.
A million German units, a million American units, a bunch of English units, a bunch of Canadian units. Yep. There's some partisan French units.
There's terrain, buildings,
and it's beautiful looking too.
I really like what I remember, and I can see it on the back. You have your units that are one size, and then you have like their weapons that are another.
Yeah, there's little weapon attachments or leaders and things like that.
Satchel charge, flamethrower. Yeah, very cool. I'm very looking forward to us. I think we're going to try to do this one next weekend.
This should be next week.
I want to play 3 or 4 scenarios.
I cannot tell you how heavy that is.
It's very heavy.
That's like Pacific War.
It hurt my hand just pulling it over here.
So yes, very excited for that. So
this one
C3I just came through. This is issue 35. So we want to play this month the Burma
the Forgotten
game
War
is in the Forgotten War.
Mark Herman.
Uses the kind of modified Empire of the Sun system that we had kind of in South Pacific, which is from C3I like 31 or 32. So very excited to play this. There's also a little Do you remember there was the Firebase Vietnam solo
Yep,
game?
there's another solo game.
Another little solo. So I had a look at that.
Called Roman Disaster at Teutoburg or something
so I'm
like
gonna probably play
Pascal
that.
Tupi.
There's like a whole SPQR module in here.
We really need to give this one some attention because there's a lot in there.
Yes.
I got my copy at home the other day. I immediately opened up, nosed through it.
I already shot and I'm bagging and kind of go
Awesome.
through all of this, so you'll see more of this later in this month as well.
I've made this comment several times. This is the Wargame magazine that you want to get. All the others are great too.
Yes.
Battle Magazine,
Battles
War
is
Diary.
as well, yeah.
They're very. This one's just so good.
Well,
Because we love Gmt Games.
but
There's
also,
no doubt.
You don't just get the magazine game that's in there.
Yeah.
You get so much
Other
stuff.
for
this
other
magazine
games.
makes you excited for 5 or 6 other games in your collection
Yeah.
that get like a tiny little bit
counters,
of a facelift or
yeah.
some errata. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna play Burma the Forgotten War in there.
And I looked through that. I looked through my copy. Each side has like 10 cards.
It's 25
cards.
24 cards. Each.
So it's not a short game. It's not like this game is one turn. It's 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, it's
It's a
4 or 5.
okay. It's like it's a big game.
It's a beefy game, but the map is a little small map.
Yeah,
but
it's like you said, the South Pacific breaking the Bismarck barrier. It uses the Empire of the Sun system. These are parts of that game. It just focuses on that Burma.
Yeah, you got the Burma
quadrant.
stuff, but you've got the Japanese divisions in China, the Burma Road, all
Really
of that
looking
stuff's
forward to
in there that wasn't in South Pacific. That had been kind of cut out.
So we're gonna play that one.
Very excited for that.
You gonna clip yours or?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. 'Cause
Okay. I haven't gone that far on mine. The other one that I'm looking forward to. This is a 1 to 4. I think it's a 1 to 4 player game. No, 2 to 4. They don't have a solo bot in it. Corrupt Bargain, the 1824 presidential election. This is from Decision Games. This is a game that is a card-driven game, and you're trying to win the presidential election in 1824. So you've got your candidates here. You've got John Quincy Adams, Henry Clay, William Crawford, and Andrew Jackson. This game is designed by... I'm trying to remember the name.
I don't know.
Yeah, I did an interview with him on the blog. I'm drawing a blank.
And it is not on there.
Doggone it. Well, now I'm going to have to look.
Yeah.
I know the guy's name. I just can't think of it all.
Yeah, so I've already made an unboxing of this as well. This is a piece
game.
of... Oh my gosh, yeah. They've knocked it out of the park. And I've mentioned this in the unboxing.
Alberry.
This reminds me, not necessarily mechanically, but kind of visually and thematically of Bleeding Kansas.
Yeah.
And what I mean
It's a
by that
nicer
is...
box than Bleeding Kansas.
Yeah. But like, that game was so good.
Yeah.
It was a really, really tight game.
Because it was so different. It was an area control with some unique abilities and some cool little mechanics.
And it's doing all that for a greater purpose for that election.
This looks very cool.
This,
very excited about
whilst
this one.
Mechanically very different, I'm hoping is as good as that.
Yeah.
It has some similarities to me. I love a dudes on a map area control game.
No doubt.
And I like it to lead into something more, and this does.
Yep.
So I've got some high hopes that plays in 60 to 90 minutes.
Yep.
Right? Who doesn't want that?
And 2 to 4 players.
We'll
I would
play
love
it
to get
2.
it.
We'll take it somewhere else and play it 4.
I'd love to play it with a couple other people.
Yeah.
So
that's
yeah.
Those are...
So that is what, 1, 2, 3, 4 games, and we know we've already played 1.
Yes.
So I think we're going to have a good month. I think we're going to play those 4 games, shoot several videos, and I think it'll be good.
And we got to do it quickly because the end of the month I'm leaving.
Yeah, you leave on the 21st,
25th.
25th. So we've got next weekend and the following weekend,
which is plenty.
Yeah, that's plenty.
So yeah,
we can do it. We can get it done.
Yes, we will get it done.
This is a really good looking game.
Yes, there's a lot of new releases that are going on at the moment, or recent releases that are just top notch.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for all that stuff coming up. What have we got in the pipeline for crowdfunding games?
Crowdfunding game. Sorry, I'm yawning. It's like 11:30.
It is very late.
The first one is the 7 Days Battles, 1862, from Worthington Publishing. This is one of their Civil War Brigade Battle Series games. We played Antietam in 2019, I think.
Sure.
It was in my top 10 because I really enjoyed that system.
Yeah, that was enjoyable.
We got a copy of Shiloh in 2020 and we never got around to playing it.
It's still on my shelf.
I want to play it, but that's a Kickstarter. It still has, let me see when May 14th. So it's still got about a week.
And so those are not inconsiderable games. Some of their games, you're like, oh, this is like an hour, 2-hour game.
Yeah.
Those things got
2-3 hours game.
Sometimes even longer with that if you're playing the full games of them.
And I don't know if you remember that American Civil War series. Very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the mechanics.
Ton of attrition.
Yeah, very fun, very interesting.
Tick down markers of your strengths.
Yep. It was very good. So that's one. Another one, and that one's on Kickstarter. It's on Kickstarter currently. Another one that is on Kickstarter is Armies and Alliances, Arnhem 44, Operation Market Garden from Cadet Games. Cadet Games has done 2 other games in the last couple of years. They Were Soldiers, which looks at the Ia Drang Valley in Vietnam. It also has a dual game like Battle for Hill 807 or something like that. We need to play that one. I know we didn't get around to playing it, and I feel bad about it. But it's an Axis and Allies style war game, miniatures, chips underneath them, simple battle process.
But it's a hex and counter game, though.
Kind of, but
it's a hex board where you're doing that stuff. So it's this kind of hybrid between the two.
Right, but it feels a lot like Axis and Allies. So anyway, they did another one, Hue 1972, the Easter Offensive. That one came out last year. We have not received a copy of that, and I want to play that. But this is kind of their next iteration of their series, and it looks at Operation Market Garden. It's named for Arnhem, but it covers all of the bridges. So that one is on Kickstarter and ends in June. It's still got or July 1st. It's still got 60 days.
That's got a long ways to go.
I have interview coming out on the blog on that one next week. So look for that. Stuka Leader, the World War II European Solitaire Theater game. European Theater Solitaire game from Danverson Games. Chuck Siegert, he did Zero Leader, and you played that last year. So this is Stuka Leader. So it deals with the East Front and the German Stuka. So that one's on Kickstarter as well. Another one on GameFound is Lock and Load Tactical Heroes of the Bitter Harvest, designed by Devin Heinley. This is just one of their modules for the ever-growing, ever-expanding
Massive
Lock and Load Tactical series.
And this is a big box expansion, I believe. Or is it just a...
It's a smaller one. I think it's a smaller one.
But it's not like the small compendiums. I don't think they...
No, it's a full game. I mean, it's got 8 or 10 scenarios and got tons of counters. But it deals with the East Front, basically the battle for southern Russia. Originally, it was going to be called Road to Stalingrad, but they changed it to Heroes of the Bitter Harvest. I like that name better because had the Germans succeeded, for them it would not have been a bitter harvest. It would have been a sweet harvest, but they failed and it was bitter. So I thought that was an interesting play on that situation. The other one, and I already talked about that, was Resist.
Yes. From
David Thompson, Salt and Pepper Games, deals with the Spanish Maquis.
Will be on
GameFound. It comes to GameFound May the 12th.
Yes.
And the one that I mentioned from Lock and Load Tactical is GameFound. It started on May the 4th. It's still got probably 2.5, 3 weeks. So definitely some good games. Check them out.
Yes.
I'd love copies of all of them. So
yeah, the only other Kickstarter news, and
what did you order again?
So I thought I'd gotten away with it.
I almost pulled the same damn. I almost backed it as well. I saw it and immediately
today
hit back.
He walked into my basement and he was like, "Hey, have you seen the Blade Runner RPG that's on Kickstarter?"
And you were like,
and I'm like, I already backed it. Like, we don't play any of these RPGs.
Yeah.
And
we do play RPGs, we just don't play as much.
Yeah, we play a lot of, like, Pathfinder, because that's what our group plays. And every so often, we'll play some other things, but I have a very unhealthy relationship with RPGs, and then I just keep buying them. Because I love you give me a 200-page book about something with some cool rules. I enjoy consuming that, and then I enjoy fantasizing about pretending I might one day play it.
And we have played some of those. The One Ring.
Yeah, we played the One Ring. We played
Star Wars,
the Star Wars
Edge of Empire.
Fantasy Flight game, which is really cool.
We've had a good time with those.
Yeah, like, I've racked up more RPGs than I care to admit.
Yeah.
And
that's a cool looking one, though.
How
much was it?
It's $90 for the core rules, which is everything, and then like the starter set, which will have dice and an adventure.
Does it have special dice?
Yes, it does, and they're cool little custom dice. So
I'll give it a try.
And it's Freely Publishing who are doing it through someone else, but you're like I have their Alien RPG. They just did the second edition of the One Ring, which I have, and I have a couple of other RPGs as well.
Nice.
So I'm like, I know the production's going to be good, so I'm going to do it. It'll be a piece on the shelf, and one day we might play it.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely play it. And last month, speaking of that, I had backed War for America from Compass Games, American Revolutionary War. It showed up. I've shot an unboxing. I haven't clipped it yet, but it's a big game. I know that unboxing probably is running in the next 3-4 weeks.
Give or take. Sooner than that, maybe.
And the other one I backed was Barbarians at the Gates from Compass. Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire just looks fantastic. So that one I've unboxed as well.
And they have enemy action Kankov.
Yes, that was another one that we should have mentioned.
Yes.
It started just like today or yesterday.
So yeah, that'll be running for a few
Compass,
weeks.
John Butterfield, and if you know Enemy Action Ardennes, this is just a follow-on to that system, but it deals with Kharkov, which is like the biggest armor battle in the history of the war.
Usually, I presume it's the same where there's a 2-player option, and then there's a solitaire option of each side as well, and they like give you different maps for the different AIs.
We need to get our hands on a copy of that. I think that'll be a great game, and we need to give that a try.
Yes. So
we've kind of gone long tonight.
We have, but that's okay.
We still got our discussion, our topic.
That's okay. So that's all of the stuff. Well,
I feel like this year is really starting out to be a great, and they all feel great. But I feel like we've got so many great games that I want to play now.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, we've got stacks of good games. Yeah. And there's just more and more on the horizon.
Coming,
so I'm very excited.
Me too.
So, that's Kickstarter. So let's move on to the the topic of discussion for this month.
Before we do that, can we talk about the Aegis Storage trays? Yes. We meant to talk about that.
And this is not sponsored in any way.
No. We don't get anything from this. This is just, they're nice.
This is kind of an FYI. Mm-hmm. So we regularly use GMT counter trays.
Yep.
I've used the lock and load trays. I've used the DVG trays. But recently a new company emerged called Aegis Storage, and they do their own counter trays. And they were like, what's better than a GMT tray is a tray that's in stock. So they made their own counter trays, and Mo from Mo's Gaming Table did like a really in-depth comparison between the two, measuring to like the quarter inch and stuff, which is pretty intense.
Yeah.
But basically,
Mo's funny. I like Mo.
Very detail-oriented guy.
Him. He's a Marine. Hoorah.
Right. But basically the gist of it is that these have quite tight lids on them, but they are slightly larger because they don't have a lip on the edge. And I really like that because you can fit slightly more counters or more pieces in these than you can in the GMT ones.
Particularly bigger counters. Some of the games that we have recently, especially like BCS Aircourt, the counters are a little bigger.
But yeah, they once you figure out your little technique,
I feel like it's hard to get.
Lids off,
I feel like it's hard to get off.
You just got to be careful with them.
That's good though. You want it to stay on.
But like the amount of stuff you can fit in these, it makes a difference.
I've already used all.
Like
ones they gave us.
I've been using them in various coin games and stuff. So they're
is that
really
all you
good.
have left? Is those 3?
Yeah.
We need to probably order some.
But they you can get them on. What's the website? I even looked it up.
Something Buffalo, wasn't it?
FlyingBuffalo.com, which is like a kind of a...
While you're talking all...
Gaming sundries and RPG website. Yeah. But they carry those. You can get a pack of them for $20 odd. But just wanted to put it out there that is an extra option if you can't get the trays that you normally can.
Right there, $22.99 for a 5-pack.
For a big 5-pack. And they work really well, and I really like them. So just that's kind of out there for you.
Yeah.
The guy who makes them was at Buckeye Game Fest.
Great guy.
We sat down and had a chat with them. Really nice dude. And
we played several games with
donated a couple to us, so I was able to use them right there and then. It was really cool.
So give them a look. I think they're well worth it, and they're in stock.
Yes.
So that's the important thing.
So yes, I appreciate you for reminding me.
Sorry.
That I would have forgotten.
So back to Desert. Wait.
Well, so back to the main.
Sorry. The topic.
The main topic.
The rambling segment.
The ramble segment. And if you wish to suggest a topic for our monthly rambles, you can do so by becoming a $5 level patron. If you sign up for our Patreon, there's different levels. There's like infantry, armor, and artillery. I think it's in that order as well. But basically, if you donate $5 a month or more, which we appreciate very much, helps us do a whole lot of things. I'll post something every month where you can suggest topics for us to talk about, and we usually pick one of those from.
We don't always, but
almost,
we have
always.
actually picked quite a few of them.
I'll choose one of those. And so today, one of our patrons, Nathan, he suggested that we have a discussion about desert island games. And I was struck by that because I wanted to have a discussion about, first, what is or what would make your desert island game, and what would it be as well?
Yeah, I think we need to talk about what is a desert island game.
Yes.
Right? Because I don't think every game can be a desert island game. I think you can, but some games it's harder to play.
Well,
but lots have solo bots.
And that's it, right? So
it's just up to you.
There's a lot of stipulations. So
what is it?
For me,
in our definition,
if someone was to say, what would be a desert island war game to you? To me, it would be something, if I'm stranded on a desert island
for the next 30 years,
all of my basic human needs are taken care of, I just only have one game to play. So it's got to be something that I can reasonably play on my own.
Yep.
But, if you want to pick a 2-player desert island, that's totally fine. So reasonably I can play it on my own. It has to have enough replay value strategically or some other way where I'm not going to get bored of it after a year.
Yeah.
Because I've got another 45 years to go. And also I have to like it. It has to be interesting and engaging.
Well, it's your only game that you're going to take.
I could pick some massive GTS game or some GOS system game, but I don't know if I would enjoy that.
But wouldn't that be the perfect time to play those monster games?
Sure.
You got nothing else to do?
But, you might lose the will to live after playing that for that long. If you don't like the system.
If you don't like it, you picked the wrong one.
So that's kind of some of the things that I thought about. I have to like it, and it has to be deep enough and rich enough to warrant playing it again and again and again, and for me to not just get bored of it and want to toss it into the ocean. Basically.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I would add to that. I think you're absolutely right. I think the game has to. I almost feel like it should be a multiplayer game.
Interesting.
Because you could play so many different.
Yes, that's fair.
And you'll understand why I'm saying that when I mention what I would take. A 2-player game, that's great too. You can play both sides. But I think a multiplayer game that usually does 4 or 5 players, man, you could kind of play from a different perspective every single time. You're going to be 5-handing it or 4-handing it, but if they have bots, you can. Yeah. I'm the blank, and the other 3 are the bots. So that's something I would want, something that's got some different perspective and not just the same. I'm going to kill you, and you're going to kill me.
Yes, that's fair. So diving on in then, so. For me, when someone says desert island games, because this is a question that's come up a number of times. People ask me kind of all the time. I'm almost always immediately drawn to Unconditional Surrender.
Yeah.
For me, this is an excellent desert island game.
And I've never played this. I have played the small...
This is upside down.
Yes. I played the small case blue scenario.
Yes, the little case blue that came in a C3I, and that was not very good.
It taught us the system.
Yeah, that's about all it does.
But it was not strategically great.
Because Unconditional Surrender is incredible for all the things that aren't in case blue.
Yeah.
So, this is a game that can play 2 to 4 players. So it kind of hits on that multiplayer part of it.
Okay. Why haven't we played this one together? Can you explain that to me?
We will. But
will we?
I think I would at most play this with 3 players. I don't think I would ever play this with 3.
I mean, if you played with 4 players, who's playing what?
It's a good question.
Because it's World War II in Europe.
Yes. So someone's going to play as the Western Allies, someone's going to play as the Soviets, and someone's going to play as the Germans. That's
okay.
I don't know.
Are the Italians represented enough that they could play?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They are a small enough faction where they're going to join the Axis, or whoever they join. I don't think...
Can they join the Allies if they...
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And that's why this is an excellent desert island game.
Yeah.
Because you can play this straight, but the best part of this game is the pre-war diplomacy stuff and trying to influence different countries to join your faction. And there's all sorts of things that happen, like, you know, if someone takes aggressive action against these people, then the neighboring countries of them turn against them and favor the opposing, and then so you can influence them and flip them, and all sorts of things. But yeah, you can have it so the Italians join the Allies, you can have it so Franco joins the Axis, you can have it so that the Turkish join the Western Allies, they join the Axis, they join the Communists. Like, you can have all sorts of wacky, crazy, and wild things, which gives it, you know, you're never going to play a game twice, it's going to be the same. Or you can just play it straight as a pretty damn good simulation of European theatre of war.
Well, and isn't there some political wrangling in this one as well?
Yeah, all of that, you know, it tails off once war breaks out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have this little cup, and
that's why I remember you talked about the cup.
It's very, very cool, and as such, you can get some kind of wacky and wild scenarios that happen of different people joining different factions. But, you know, you could also just not do that. It's a big 2-mapper. It takes a long time to play, so you're going to kind of... It's very meaty, but you can always kind of call it at a certain point if you don't want to go any further, or if the situation kind of got silly. You just set it up and play it again. It's never going to be quite the same. But the actual core system, the mechanics you're using of activating a guy and moving them, and the way that the sortie system works is so clean and so smooth that, yeah, it takes a long time to play the whole thing, but it's never a chore.
This is really annoying to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, did I have it on the wrong way around?
Well, now it's...
But yeah, I love this game. And so this is a quintessential kind of a desert island game for me. Is what I would say. Now, there's a couple others that I could choose.
Yeah.
So, another one that I...
Well, can I make a comment about this? I am tired of hearing you talk about this game.
Yeah.
And me have not played it.
Well, we'll play it this year. How about that?
Am I going to hold you to that?
I'm fine with it.
Do they have different scenarios?
Or is it... Doesn't matter, because we'll leave it set up down here. And we'll play it over the course of a few weeks.
Okay, that's fine. I'm tired of hearing about it without us playing it.
You're going to play it, and you'll be like...
Okay. Well, I'm sure I will. I love big, grand, strategic level World War II games.
And this is perfect because it is grand, but not too grand.
Got it. There's a little minutia and...
Yes. You get some cool
air
detail,
sorties,
but it's a big hex and counter game without being like, oh, here's my supply stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get bogged down ever in this game. It's really good.
Looking forward to it.
But yeah, love it. So
that would kind of be your number one.
I think I would say that's my number one.
But you're getting ready to talk maybe about another one or two that you might consider.
There's a couple other that I would consider, and people yell at me for not picking these. So I would pick something like Warfighter.
Yeah.
Because it's a game that I could solo. You can play with other people if you want to.
You have the ammo crate somewhere around here, right?
I do. It's down there.
So if you could somehow lug the ammo crate, swimming out to the island, keeping it somewhat dry over your head, you would have months and months and months of...
You set the game up, and now you've got shelter.
Yeah, that's true.
And the box is so big, you just live in it.
Live in the box.
But it's so, like, that's one of those games where it's a good desert island game because there's just so much of it.
Right. Well, think of all the different little mini box expand. They have like 30 or 40. Yeah. We have maybe 7 or 8, maybe 10. And we've played it a ton. I feel like we've played it a bunch.
We have played it a bunch.
And I'm not sure we've played the same stuff over and over. We kind of play different stuff all the time. Yes. So I would agree that would be a game.
That would be a good one.
And it's varied and interesting. It's unique. It's a solitaire game. If somebody swam up on the island with you...
They can co-op it very easily.
You can co-op it. We've done that many a times. That's a good...
The only other desert island game that I would consider most likely would be Fields of Fire.
Okay.
And I would choose Fields of Fire Volume 1 because I just think that's I think this, I don't know, I just enjoy it.
Okay.
And that's a good one because it is deep, it is rich, it's complex. You can sit there and take your time over it, and there's so much to explore in that game that, like, there's so many missions, there's so many different campaigns and settings. It'll never be the same. You can always do different things. There's so much choice in that game. That would be another one that I would choose. But I think that's something, you know, that's key to Desert Island is I'm never going to get bored of this game.
Yeah.
And those are 3 games I don't think I could ever get bored of.
Got it.
And some of it's because simply volume in the box.
Yeah.
Like Warfighter. For Unconditional Surrender, it's just that good.
Yeah.
I like it that much. But also, there's enough where you can tweak it here and there where you could make it so it's never the same if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But even just replaying the campaign again and again the same way would be reward enough, frankly. So I think those are some of the ones I pick that I think it's probably.
So you picked a 2-player game that you believe solo as well. I know you've played it a couple of times solo.
Yes.
You've started a couple different like AARs, gotten 3 or 4 years into it, then Ollie's destroyed it, or something else. Yeah. Kelly vacuumed it up, or something like that. You also picked a solitaire game that can be co-opted.
Yes.
And then you picked a true solitaire game. Okay, that's a good.
I think that's
good selection.
You know, if my whole house, heaven forbid, got burnt down and those 3 games survived, I wouldn't be that mad.
Got it.
I'd be very annoyed, but at least I've got those.
Yeah, at least you got those. Okay, so I thought about mine. The one, if you could grab it, you know what I'm talking about.
I do indeed.
I think this would be my number 1 Desert Island game. And many of you are like, "Oh, you just said how great it is with 4 players."
Good.
It's so great with 4 players because you really see the interaction and the interplay and the lying and the cheating and the backstabbing. But the very cool thing about this, particularly with the new Trung bot, that we haven't necessarily explored that much. We own it. I assume your copy's in here. The Trung bot.
I don't think
you have it somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't think I put it in
I don't want to get lost in that. This game has fully fleshed out bots that I can decide I want to play the Arvin today. And I'm going to control the Arvin, and the bots are going to control the NVA, the Americans, and the VC, right?
Yes.
And to me, that is one of the perfect parts of what I would consider a Desert Island game.
Yeah.
I can play that solo, alone, mano y mano against myself. I know that's not what that word means, but you know what I'm talking. But I could switch around and play from all different perspectives.
Yeah. You've got the challenge of mastering this one faction.
Yeah, I want to win.
Which you're going to play 1 trillion times.
Yep, I want to win as the VC, and I'm going to keep playing until I understand how I win with them. And then when I do that, I'm going to win as the NVA, and I'm going to keep going until I win as the NVA. Blah blah blah. NVA are easier to win with than the VC, I think, but that's not always the case. It just depends, right?
Yeah, and the bots, because they're bots, they have a handicap, and so
they do.
They play.
They do different actions and different things.
Yeah, they play very strongly, and they're very challenging bots to play against.
But I would also pray. I would never pray for disaster to come on someone, but in this hypothetical situation, I would pray for a cruise liner or a boat with 3 people.
A cruise liner with only 3 war gamers.
Right. It's just a huge.
Everyone else dead.
I don't want to wish for them to be dead. But I would wish that they would crash on the island with me, and I would hope they would have the burning desire to play the Vietnam War.
And only the war gamers survived.
Right. I don't want the other people complaining that that's all we're doing. That would be one game that I would take. I love Fire in the Lake. I enjoy the Vietnam War period, its history, the political, economic, social issues. Just fascinate. The music of the period. It's just a time. I was a kid early on, born in 73. It was over in 75, but my family talked about it a lot. I had some uncles that were in Vietnam. Just a game that I've always loved. I think this would be a perfect Desert Island game. So that's number 1. Another game that I think I would take, and it's a pure solo game. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite solitaire games of all time. Do you have any idea? Do you remember?
I think I know what this is.
Yeah. Comancheria from GMT Games. It is the story of the Comanche people, covering about 300 years. And you go all the way through their rise and their fall as they are conquered by the Spanish conquistadors and the colonists that are going out there, blah, blah, blah. Fantastic game. It is such a narrative-driven solitaire game. It is extremely difficult. I've played it dozens of times and only won 2 or 3 times. I love it. I love everything about it. I think Joel Toppin did a fantastic job designing it. And it is so unique that I'll play it every time, and it's always different. I haven't played it for a couple of years. I've also tried to pick up Navajo War, which I haven't felt the connection that I did to Comancheria, and I'm kind of comparing the two. So I need to get that off, get out of my head and just play it. So that's my second game. So I've got kind of a multiplayer game that can be played solo. I've got a true solitaire game. And then I think my third game would be, and you're going to laugh at this, it would be Solitaire Caesar from White Dog Games.
Well, yes. I've never played it.
It's such a fun, simple game. Plays in about an hour, and I just love it.
Just smash it over and over and over again.
Because it changes all the time. The barbarians come from different... It's just fun. It's just a fun game. Not very deep. I think I mentioned that to you. This game is by the same designer. It's not overly deep, but it's got some cool mechanics.
P.S. He just picked up Irish Freedom and didn't show it to everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we already talked about it.
Yeah, but you just held it over there. They didn't see what it was.
I'm a goofball. It's late. I don't know. Solitaire Caesar, it's a fun game. There's some other big, like, 2-player games that I would love to try. Yeah. And I've heard such good things about them. I think they would be good. Enemy Action Ardennes is one.
Could be.
People have said that has a great solo system. I think you could play it two-fisted. I also think a lot of times, wouldn't you want to take a game that you're just never going to be able to play at home? A Time for Trumpets.
Maybe.
Right? A game that I have sitting on my shelf over the past year and a half.
Sure.
I haven't even touched it.
Because
it's so intimidating.
But you've never played it, so you might not like it.
That's true. So how could I take it? That would be my risk. That would be my risk one. Sure. That I would tie onto my body with a little rope in a plastic bag as I'm swimming to the island.
So, yeah. A couple of the games that I'm like, yeah, that could be one.
Yeah.
Assault Red Horizon 41. Simply from a volumetric standpoint.
Well, there's so many scenarios.
There's so much in that
400
box, right?
scenarios or something. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You could play that
and it's
over and over again.
It's not just the number of scenarios. It's the cards that the setup's going to be different every time.
Yeah.
That's just fantastic to me.
That one is one that kind of popped in my brain where I'm like, yeah, there was so much in there. Yeah. And it's a tactical game, it's a different feel from some of the other ones as well. And with how much you get in there, you could play just that. I'm thinking about Point Blank.
Yeah, that's a great game.
If the solo stuff holds up,
you could
forever. You would very much consider that because there's so much in there as well. It's a ton of scenarios, but it also has a design your own scenario in there. Mm-hmm. It has the generator to do that, so you could endlessly play that and it still be different. Or you could just replay the same stuff and just tactically it's different.
Yeah. Holland 44 is another one for me. We talked about that earlier tonight. We played Salerno 43. I love that game.
You could. And that's it, right? Desert Island Games, the love of that game is going to take you a long way. Right?
I can play that over and over and over and over again. And I've done it solo a couple of times. I haven't finished it, but I would play that over and over again. I would never get tired of it.
Yeah,
the map would get torn up because it's a paper map, but my coconut juice would be on it and my sweat and crabs would be running it, but...
Yeah, I feel like, I'd be hard-pressed to not take something like RAF, Battle of Britain.
Yeah, you love that game.
It's very
I've
good.
enjoyed that game when we played it
game.
A couple of times.
And it's the same thing where you can play RAF Lion, where it's the British, or you can play RAF Eagle, which is the German side of it. It has a whole separate game for that.
I also might, because they're small, I really love those Kekionga.
Those little guys.
Fallen Timbers.
You just tuck that into your life jacket.
I would tuck that in the life jacket, tie the one game on, and then hold the other 2 or 3 of them over my head. So I would have 5.
Okay.
I'm not doing this Desert Island one game bull crap. I'm going all out. But those are good little games. Now, I might get tired of those. So but if I had 4 or 5 of them, I could play them over and over again because they're so simple. they're so narrative driven, so unique, and those die rolls are just gonna change all the time.
You know what else I was thinking of? Saipan.
I thought about that one,
Because
but
that
I
is
was
a
like,
desert island.
well, it's a desert island game on a desert about a desert island, right? It's a cool game too.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the heck out of that, and it's big.
And it is. It's big. It's only
Very
2
big.
maps.
Yeah.
But it's big.
It
a
has
lot
like
of counters.
1,000 counters.
Long game, right?
Yeah.
And
I still own that.
like all those games, you're gonna play that, and then you're gonna set up and play it again. Totally different.
Yeah, you're
Just
right.
The things that you learn, the things that you're gonna do, it's hard to get those games to be like rote. And for it to like, oh, I played it. It was exactly the same. There's so many variables. It'll never be the same. Just from a volume of unit standpoint.
Yeah.
So that kind of a game could serve you well in that instance as well. Now I'm thinking about that.
Would you have a table on this desert island? Would a table have survived? Or are you just going to have to lay it out on the sand?
You just get one of the tables off of the cruise ship that crashed, and everyone died apart from the 3 other
Hopefully the 3
gamers.
war gamers made it over. Maybe they swam with a table because they knew they were going to play.
It's a very you've got a very small round plexiglass that was from one of the portholes.
There's another game that I was thinking about. I can't remember.
There's a lot of games out there,
but you can only take one.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
And
there's too many games that there's just so many games that I would love to play over and over and over again.
It's got to be long enough where I don't have to I don't know if I could play a game like a little
like a
2-hour
game.
one. Then I'm gonna play it 4 times a day,
14,000 times,
365 days.
You might be jumping off the island.
That might be too much. I want something that's big and a bit more grand that I can play over the course of time. Do it again. Maybe. I
also am not so sure I wouldn't want a simple game that I might be able to teach like a monkey that's on the island with me, and I would have an opponent.
What's a war game so simple you can teach a monkey? I don't know what that is.
That's a great game. That'd be a great game, though. I don't know. There's a lot of games that I think are simple. I'm a good teacher. I taught people how to play Liberty or Death. I can do it.
I mean,
it's a challenge. I'm taking that challenge.
That's definitely Desert Island Challenge. So yeah. I mean,
are there many desert islands with monkeys on them?
I don't know. Okay. I've never been on one.
What is a desert island really? Okay,
they're all owned by billionaires anyway.
Yeah, right. That's true. So, I'm not a billionaire. So.
But you'd be playing war games on a billionaire's private island. So
yeah.
So anyway, that was a somewhat loose discussion of desert island
That was one of the most fun discussions I've had in a long time.
Well, it's an interesting criteria of things to look at.
I would actually
like a kind of crazy scenario.
I'd actually like to sit down and think about it a lot more than the hour or so we thought and talked about it.
But yeah, let us know what your desert island games would be and why. Because I think I think that's gonna be a lot, and
that's a big part of it.
And if you say ASL, just get out. We get it. You win.
Yeah.
Great. Good job.
Well, they would have to have a whole tugboat.
Yeah, like
dragging it along with every expansion.
Don't come at me with that. Okay, we get it. You've
Combat Commander.
You've broken the scenario.
Combat Commander might not be a game that I wouldn't want to have.
Maybe.
I just love that game so much.
But
I could do a Pacific island on a Pacific island.
But you gotta have the solo CDG.
Right, and that's what I mean. I'd have to have that along with it,
which is fine. That's
so that along with the games tucked in my life jacket, the one tied to me with the plastic bag.
Just bring Stuka Joe with you.
Right. Can I just have
strap him to the back?
Can I just have my entire collection?
We'll build a raft out of the IKEA shelves.
Oh, that would work.
So yeah.
So would there be any room on the IKEA shelf for me though?
Yeah.
Or would I be like Jack?
It's buoyant, right?
Would I be like Jack with Rose? Oh, there's no room on this sucker. Well, when I looked at that thing, it looked like about 5 people could be on that. I don't think she liked him very much.
Well, yeah, very much that's the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what your desert island games would be, and more importantly, why. And what your kind of criteria might be for picking those kinds of games.
Yeah,
it's just a fun intellectual exercise to go through. Hopefully it never happens, but
yeah,
it's always and usually you end up finding out maybe what your favorite game in your collection might be as well.
Yeah,
so you're like, if
I'd like to also think about that a little bit more. I think. I think I picked some good ones, though.
Yes.
But.
So let us know what you think.
Hopefully you're sticking with us and you heard this part of the discussion. But if you didn't, that's okay.
Yeah. But that's up to you. So, it's been a long night for us. So we're going to call it quits at this point. But appreciate everyone's support, both watching our videos, liking our videos, sharing them, following on social media, everyone who supports us on Patreon, everyone who works with us, from like game publishers and designers doing interviews. Everyone helps to make this thing work.
Yep.
And we're really happy to sit here and talk war games with you and kind of go through some of the games that we have and share that. And I have a blast doing it.
Yep.
I think you do too.
I do.
You sat with me for doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
So, thanks everyone for tuning in. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.